Good afternoon. Thanks a lot, Sushil, for the kind words. Why, I wanted to see my own video because I didn't know how I looked before and after, so I came to this side anyway. But folks, somebody said you should not live a life of regret. But I've been asked, do you have any regrets in life? It's not a good idea to say, yes, I do, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't. Folks, I have two regrets in my life. One, I lost my mother when she was 55. I was struggling in the U.S. But my one regret is, when a friend of mine who is a member of parliament in the UK, he said, Shiv, you hit 3.5 million copies on You Can Win, which is a benchmark. He said, we'd like to celebrate at the House of Lords in coming year, April. So let me clear some dates for you. And immediately my one regret came, I wish my mother was there. I wish my mother was there. That's one regret. And folks, my second regret is, why did I not officially join Rotary 40 years ago? Why did I not join Rotary 40 years ago officially? Maybe unofficially many people have given me pins and I wear it with great pride. But you know something? It's not the same thing. It is really not the same thing. When you have earned a doctorate versus when you are bestowed a doctorate, they're two different things. Are you with me, folks? You earn a doctorate versus when you are bestowed a doctorate, totally two different things. Well, I wish I had earned to be sitting where you are sitting right now. Well, when my elder daughter moved to Singapore, she said, Dad, we're moving to a new place. We don't have friends. I don't know many people up there. I'd like to meet some like-minded people. And she asked, Dad, do you know some people who I could meet? Could you introduce me? I said, honey, you don't need me. If you really want to meet some good people and grow yourself, just join the Rotary. I said, just go join the Rotary. Folks, I'm not here to massage your ego. None of us are teenagers. I don't have to massage your ego, and you can't pay me enough to massage it anyway. And nor can you do it for me. These are beyond things. We're not teenagers here. Let's get realistic and talk substance. Either we mean it or shut up. Either we mean it or just shut up. Now, folks, yesterday I heard the RI trustee chairperson saying they've created a endowment fund of $1.2 billion. Is that okay? 1.2, is that the right number, sir? Yeah, 1.25. 5 don't matter, but 1.2 is important. And you're looking at going forward 2.5, and he said we're looking to generate $100 million every year as income for perpetuity. Out of that fund going forward. Man, what a legacy. Folks, many years ago I heard this one little phrase which said, if you want to leave a legacy and be remembered, then Either do something worth writing or write something worth doing. Folks, I have written something worth doing. You are doing something worth writing. And considering that, people who are doers are much greater than speakers. Are you with me? People who are doers are way, way, way above than those people who are just speakers. Well, a world famous psychiatrist was a man by the name of Dr. Carl Menninger. The Menninger Clinic is world famous in the US in psychiatry. So somebody asked Dr. Menninger, Doc, tell me, if you knew for sure that one of your patients was going to come up with an attack of depression, what treatment would you prescribe? And they were thinking that he would write some medicines right there. And he said, if I knew that one of my patients was coming up with an attack of depression, I would advise them very strongly, get out of the house, lock your home, go to the other side of town, look for somebody who needs your help, just go help them and your depression will go away permanently. He said, look for somebody who needs help and just help them and you will get rid of your depression. Folks, about 30 years ago, I met a gentleman. In fact, I went through a program by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, the man who wrote the book Power of Positive Thinking. I would say it was more like 40 years ago. I think he's been past now almost 25 years. Well, there were 1,000 people. I'm talking almost 45, 42 years ago. I was sitting in a group of 1,000 people up there. And Dr. Peale came to the dais. His height was, to speak, 5 feet, maybe with shoes 5'1". I could be wrong, who knows? But he wasn't tall. But the way he walked very tall. And folks, the kind of enthusiasm he showed that day on the dais, folks, that day I changed the definition of height. Folks, you never measure a person's height neck down. You always measure a person's height neck up. Are you with me? And he looked at the entire audience with tremendous confidence. But that confidence had a lot of humility. Because confidence without humility amounts to arrogance. Are you with me, folks? Yes, no. Confidence without humility amounts to arrogance. And he looked at the entire audience and he said, you people appear so calm and comfortable. It appears that none of you have any problems here. And then he asked, does anybody here have problems? Folks, who doesn't have problems? He asked, who has problems? Please raise your hand. And everybody raised their hand. Then he said, how many people would like to get rid of their problems? Again, everybody raised their hand again, one more time. And then he said, folks, while coming to this congregation, I came across a place 2 blocks away from here. I saw some people who were totally relaxed, stretched out. They had no problem. How many people would like to know where it is? So everybody raised their hand again. Then he said, folks, 2 blocks away from here, there is a cemetery. And there are people lying there, all stretched out, totally relaxed. They have no problem. How many people would like to get rid of their problems? Everybody put their hand in the pocket. Then Dr. Peel said, problem is a sign of life. He said, so long as we are alive, we shall have problems. And the day we don't have problems, we'll be dead. And he said, when you are running short of problems, that is the time you should get on your knees and pray to God and say, have you stopped trusting me anymore? Send me some problems. And he said, we cannot solve all our problems, but he said we can handle them. And folks, that 42 years ago, he gave a prayer which, since that day and to date, I don't leave my home without repeating it and reminding myself. And that prayer was not his. It was given by somebody else maybe 2,000 years ago. And folks, to me, it is the crux of life. And here is what the prayer goes. It said, God grant me this serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, and courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference, what I can and what I cannot. Folks, if we analyze this little thing, God grant me this serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. Folks, there are many things in life that we just cannot change. They're beyond us. Folks, I didn't choose my parents, neither did you. I didn't decide where I was going to be born, neither did you. And granted, if this is my height, I cannot be 6'10". But that's the way it is. If this is the color of my skin, there is nothing I can do. That's the way it is. And granted, sometimes people are born deformed. What wrong did they do? Who knows? And granted, sometimes bad things do happen to good people for no fault of their own. What wrong did they do? Who knows? Folks, it says, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. What I cannot change, let me accept graciously, not grudgingly. Because many times, when we fight the things we cannot change, we bring stress into our lives. And we ruin our life completely. Folks, if I cannot change, let me accept it graciously, not grudgingly. And if I can change, then give me the guts to do it and wisdom to know the difference, what I can and what I cannot. Now, when I wrote my book, You Can Win, I took this thought a step further, which says life is full of choices and life is full of compromises. Seems like a contradiction, but really not. Folks, if I ill-treat you, I have chosen to be ill-treated, haven't I? If I treat you with discourtesy, I've chosen to be treated with discourtesy, haven't I? If I light up a cigarette, I've chosen to invite cancer, haven't I? Folks, are you with me? Hello? And if I eat and drink too much and don't exercise, I've chosen to be obese, haven't I? Folks, life is full of choices and life is full of compromises. Now, the next sentence becomes rather crucial. We are all free to the point of choice, but after we make our choices, the choice controls the chooser. We have no more choice. Are you with me? I repeat, we are all free to the point of choice, but after we make our choices, the choice controls the chooser. We have no more choice. It's gone beyond us. Now, folks, I met a gentleman who said to me, he said, Shiv, if you want to build a high self-esteem, first of all, let me ask you people, what is high self-esteem? Somebody raise your hand, please. What is high self-esteem? Somebody raise your hand, please. You had your tea, coffee, haven't you? Of course, you had lunches too. Now, you've been through my program, so I'm not going to come to you. Sir, what is self-esteem? Well, self-respect is a component. What else is self-esteem? Somebody else, give me an answer. Quickly, folks. Sir, self-aspiration is a consequence. What is self-esteem? Yes, ma'am. Pardon? Well, self-belief is a component. What is self-esteem? Somebody else raised your hand. Yes, sir. Well, that is a consequence. What is self-esteem? Sir? Self-worth is a component. What is self-esteem, sir? Gentlemen. Thinking highly of yourself. Well, I'm not sure. I'm going to share what is self-esteem. What is, yes, ma'am, lady there. Well, self-judgment, well, self-evaluating is I think, leads to self-esteem. Yes, ma'am, sir. Something that helps you keep your head high. Okay, interesting. Well, maybe something else. Sir, know yourself. Folks, gentlemen there. Sir, he's already said that. Just give me something new. Lady in the pink. Self-confidence is a consequence, by the way. Yes, sir. Okay, I'm going to go one more and then I'm going to wind up. You are close, sir. I'm just looking for one word change. Wait. One word change. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, it's the reverse of ego. It is the reverse of ego, sir. Think positive. Being positive, that's a consequence. Gentlemen. Okay, folks, let me stop here. Folks, all these stuff that you said, self-confidence, self-worth, self-respect, all this put together gives a person a feeling, and that feeling is called self-esteem. Have you noticed one thing? One day when we get up in the morning feeling good, the world looks nice, productivity goes up, and relationships are a lot better, aren't they? And the reverse is just as true. And self-esteem is inversely related to egos. Folks, have you seen people with egos like I know it all? What do? They talk down to people, don't they? They put down others, don't they? And every decision they make is more to satisfy ego than make sense. Folks, think about it. Why does a human being put down another human being? It is sadistic but true. There are some people in this world who feel good when the other person feels bad. They feel superior when the other person feels inferior, which means they don't want to lift themselves up, but they want to pull others down. This is crab mentality. Folks, this is one kind of ego, which is sadistic ego. But there's another kind of ego which is called fragile ego. Anything you say, I take it personally and I get hurt. Anything you say, I take it personally and I get hurt. And we talk of teamwork. What do both these egos do to teamwork? They just destroy it. Now, folks, I met a man, in fact, I feel very strongly that major challenges all over the world, they are all self-esteem issues. Now, I'll come back to share with you why do I say what I shared. But I met a gentleman who said, he said, Shiv, you want to build your self-esteem high, the quickest and the fastest way to build your self-esteem high is do something for others who cannot repay you in cash or kind, and watch, your own self-esteem will start going up. Folks, when I heard this man, I started to volunteer my time in maximum security prisons and the jails in the U.S. I used to go into Morris County Jail. Maximum security prisons are not small-time criminals, folks. They're big-time murderous rapists. And I used to go in and start teaching attitude and self-esteem programs. One day, as I was coming out of the jail, of course there's very high security, I felt a big hand hit me from behind. And I turned back and I see a big guy, 6'10", 300 pounds, in a husky voice he says, I want to talk to you. So folks, I made a policy in my life, when they're 6'10", 300 pounds, when they want me to listen, I listen. Folks, I said, yes, Pete, tell me, what is it? He said, Shiv, I'm going to be leaving the jail March 18th, going back many, many years. So I asked him, I said, Pete, tell me, what have you learned in the past few weeks? He said, I feel good. I said, feel good doesn't say anything to me. What behavior has changed? Folks, would you agree with me? Unless behavior changes, learning has not taken place. Yes, no. Hello? Unless behavior changes, learning has not taken place. So I said, what behavior has changed? And he said, since you came the first time, I started reading my Bible. I said, great. I asked him, I said, tell me, what are you going to do differently when you leave the jail? And he said, I'm going to try to be a contributing member to society. Oh, I said, good. Tell me one more time. He said, I'm going to try to be a contributing member to society. I said, good. Tell me one more time. Obviously, I was looking for a different answer. When I asked this big guy the third time, he got angry. Now, folks, 6'10", 300 pounds, when they get angry, it's like a tank. And he stomped his feet and he says, Shiv, I told you, I'm going to be a contributing member to society. I said, big difference in what you said before and now. Earlier you said, I'm going to try to be. Now you said, I am going to be. I said, my friend, in life, there is no dry business. If you want to take one sentence home, remember, this life is not a dress rehearsal. Are you with me? Hello? This life is not a dress rehearsal. You pinch me, I get hurt. I pinch you, you get hurt. This life certainly is not a dress rehearsal. I said, either we do it or we don't do it. If you try, I said, you keep this door open to the jail to come back here, which is called repeat criminals. They are repeat criminals. While this conversation was going on in the jail, there was another inmate who asked me, what do you get paid to do all this? Why do you come here? Obviously, I wasn't getting any money. I said, my friend, I come here not because of you. I come here because of my own selfish reasons. The feeling that I got upon listening to this man, I come here to get that feeling. When I feel good, my self-esteem goes up. And my self-esteem goes up, I become positive and I become more productive everywhere. Folks, this is based on the little principle. I bet your parents said it, my parents said it, our teacher said it, our principal said it, and the principle it is based on, whenever we do something positive in life, even if no one is watching, we rise a little bit in our own eyes. And whenever we do something negative in life, like lying, stealing, cheating, even if no one is watching, we fall down a little bit in our own. This is the magic of self-esteem. And folks, now let me share the real meaning. Though I've been doing this leadership programs, maybe 25, 28 countries, and I'm grateful to God, we've been rated amongst the top in the world. But I really came to learn and understand the meaning of self-esteem probably only 5, 6, 7 years ago. Even though I've been doing this program, but in reality it only dawned on me only 5, 6 years ago. And folks, let me share with you what is self-esteem. Folks, here is what self-esteem, what it means. The crux of it is self-acceptance. Just park these two words, self-acceptance, and I'll come back and share with you a little later. But here is what self-esteem means. One, how I came to this world, I have no idea. I have no idea how I came to this world. But the fact is, I'm here. I'm not perfect. I am not perfect. Means I have shortcomings. I have shortcomings. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I made mistakes. I apologize for my mistakes. I seek forgiveness for my mistakes. I learn from my mistakes. I am not proud of my mistakes. I will not repeat my mistakes, but I am not a mistake. But I am not a mistake. Folks, this is the crux of self-esteem. Means I accept myself the way I am. Now that doesn't mean arrogance. That doesn't mean take it or leave it, to hell with you. That doesn't mean I'm not here to improve. It only means I accept myself the way I have been created here. I am at peace with myself. I am willing to improve. I'm willing to change. I'm willing to learn. I made mistakes. I apologize. I seek forgiveness. I am not proud of them. But I am not a mistake. Folks, you find people who are not able to accept themselves, they keep fighting with themselves internally and they keep fighting externally. Are you with me? And people who are at peace with themselves, they're the only people who share peace with others. We can only give what we have. How can we give what we don't have? How can we give what we don't have? And that means we are internally driven, not externally driven. Internally driven. See, one day, if somebody gets up on the right side of the bed in a great mood and says, Shiv, khera, what a message you are sharing, I feel proud to call you my friend. How does it make me feel? I feel great. But next day, they get in a rotten mood and they call me up and he says, you rascal, you cheat, you crook. How does it make me feel? I feel rotten. Who's controlling my life? The other person. Is that the way I want to live? Obviously, hello? Not. But folks, don't get me wrong. When they say you're the greatest person, it's nice to hear those words. But if they don't say it, in my own estimation, I'm still a good human being. And when they rip me apart, they are not able to rip me apart because in my own estimation, I'm still a good human being. I am getting my validation from inside, not from outside. Folks, this is not arrogance. Are you with me? Hello? Can I have a big yes? This is not arrogance. Folks, I just wrote an article which I sent off to New York Times for publication. They sent it back to me without publishing, and they said, please condense, so I'm condensing. In there I've written that going forward, the way things are changing so fast, so drastically, that it has literally become a cliche, the only constant is change. So I wrote in that either we are in deep trouble or we are sitting on an opportunity that is phenomenal. So I wrote in, how do you get prepared to face the future in an environment which says the only constant is change? So when I started penning down, is there anything else in this world that is constant? And finally, I came down with three things which to me are constant. They have never changed. They will never change. What are the three things? Folks, here are the three things. One, folks, people skills. People skills. Two, persuasion skills. Three, prioritizing skills. Three things. One, people skills. Two, persuasion skills. Three, prioritizing skills. Folks, why do I share people skills? Folks, so long as there are people on this planet, we need people skills. Are you with me? Now, the current generation is so tech savvy, it's unbelievable. Well, I'm not a techie. I'm still learning SMS, by the way. So I'm way behind times. When I have a problem, I call my grandson. Folks, this current generation is phenomenal with the computers. But the flip side is they have become very uncomfortable with people. Are you with me? They have become very uncomfortable with people. And yesterday we heard your trusty chairperson give the numbers. Obviously, when a great achievement takes place, obviously there are people behind it, because without people, there are no achievements. True? Yes, no? Okay. Now, with that question in mind, how many people agree that people are our greatest assets? Please raise your hand. Incorrect answer. Folks, remember, people are not assets. Only good people are assets, rest are all liabilities. I repeat, Folks, only good people are assets. The rest are all liabilities. And goodness anywhere in the world must be cultivated. Evil happens. This is nature. And all the billion-dollar figures that you shared yesterday didn't happen. There were people who faced obstacles, they had problems, they had challenges, and they fought and they delivered. They were fighters. They were fighters. Folks, if we want to live in peace, we got to be a fighter. Folks, goodness must be cultivated. Evil happens. That is nature. Just the way a farmer, if they want to have a good garden, they have to consciously plant good seeds of good flowers and good fruits. They have to consciously do that, but weeds keep coming to destroy them. Folks, when a farmer finishes the plantation, there's a whole army of insects and weeds ready to destroy. Now the farmer has a choice: either get destroyed or fight and destroy them. Are you with me? Hello? Either fight and destroy them. Now this is nature. Do you realize while we are breathing and walking, there's a fight going on in our body? Medical doctors are here. We have two cells, the red cells and the white blood cells. What is the function of the white blood cells? To protect. They keep looking for infection and destroy it, because if they don't destroy infection, the infection will destroy us. This is nature. Third thing, look at anywhere, it is the same thing. We got to fight evil. See, every morning we go to our offices and we turn our computers on. And guess what is the first thing we do? Antivirus. You put in the antivirus just to make sure somebody did not come and destroy all your good work. So you want to protect this is nature. Goodness must be cultivated. Evil happens. Now, interestingly, there was a survey done by Gallup in the US, global survey, which said 63% of people who go to work, they're disengaged. You know what that means? Means they don't do their job. An additional 24% are actively disengaged. Means they make sure that others also don't do their job. Folks, that leaves only 13% of people who go to work actually do work. I repeat, only 13% of people who go to work actually do work. That means 87% of people are disengaged when they go to work. Now look at this. They are paid people to do their job, and they don't. And look at this here, an army of Rotarians, 1.25 million people who are not paid anything. They pay their own money, they put their own time out, they take their time away from some other economic activity, and yet they are motivated to do something which those people who are paid are not willing to do. Are you with me? Imagine, folks, what this is something called what brings people together, which says unity to win. What brings together is what? Folks, what is it that brings everybody together? What is it? Sir? Okay, folks, it is called a common cause. We are committed to a common cause. That is what commitment is all about. So the greatest motivator historically, any culture, anywhere in the world, is what? It is belief. Folks, it is well said, people will do a lot for money. They will do more for a good leader, and they will do most for a belief. Check out anywhere in the world. United States, Middle East, Far East, India, anywhere. People are willing to die for a belief for no money. They're willing to kill for a belief for no money. Folks, are you with me? People are willing to die for a belief for no money. They're willing to kill for a belief for no money. The greatest motivator historically has always been belief. Folks, are you aware that in Thailand there are groups of people who pierce their jaws with bamboos without anesthesia? Anybody familiar? Folks, human rights call it torture. They do it voluntarily. What is it? Belief. In India, there are groups of people who pierce their jaws with bamboos. They put torch steel in their tongues and hooks on their body, and they walk on fire. Human rights call it torture. They do it voluntarily. What is it? Belief. Folks, Henry Ford said, if you think you can, you can. If you think you cannot, you cannot. You will prove yourself right. Folks, with those words, remember, a false belief is also a belief. I repeat, a false belief is also a belief. Many times we keep fighting for false beliefs. Now, let me share with you the word commitment, which brings us together. What is the difference between a promise and a commitment? Somebody, raise your hand, please. Yes, sir. Okay, well, that's a good one. Somebody else give me an answer. What is the difference between a promise and a commitment? Somebody else. Raise your hand. Yes, right there. We give to others. Commitment is what we give to ourselves. Sir, I owe you this book. You can win. It's a new one, revised edition. Give me a big hand, please. Come quickly, my friend. Yeah, come quickly. Run, my friend. Let's go. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Give me a big hand, please. Thank you, sir. Folks, interestingly, what this gentleman said, promise is an agreement we make with others. A commitment is an agreement we make with ourselves. Now, I've just sent my manuscript to my publishers in UK for my new book. And I mentioned in there, about 200 years ago, in the Western world, folks, there was no concept of love marriage. Pretty much most marriages were arranged marriages. That means marriage came first and love came after. And granted, some of them might have had problems, but by and large, they lasted. This is the Western world. Now, folks, that was 200 to 300 years ago. But today in the Western world, by and large, all marriages, by and large, are so-called love marriages. Means love comes first, marriage comes after. And in the Western world, they have a 60 to 70% divorce rate, and some parts even 90% divorce rates. Folks, what does the word commitment say? Now, what is missing? So in the Western world, they have come up with a midway. What is the midway, Mr. Bhaskar, sir? What is the midway? Yeah, what is the midway? In between means what? Let us live together without making a... Are you with me? Let us live together without making a commitment. Live in, and you ask them, what is the purpose of live in? And the answer is, we want to check compatibility. Are you with me? We want to check compatibility. So for 5 years they live together, and every day they keep checking compatibility every day. And then they get married, and 2.5 hours later they have a divorce. Man, what did you check? What did you check? Folks, question is, have you seen a compatible couple in this world? Show me one. Look at your parents, are they compatible? Folks, it is not compatibility that keeps a relationship going. It is our ability to live with the incompatibilities in life. It is our ability to live with the incompatibilities in life. Folks, other than values, nothing is compatible. Everything is adjustment. Values must be compatible. So the word commitment says, I will stand by you no matter what. See, that's the word commitment. I stand by you no matter what. It doesn't say, I'll stand by you till I find a better one. It doesn't say that. That is opportunist behavior. It says, I'll stand by you no matter what. That is commitment. And I learned one lesson in my life, that moral commitments are much stronger than legal commitments. Are you with me? Moral commitments are a lot stronger than legal commitments. Folks, I do a 3-day leadership program. This is not the forum to do it. How much time do I have, sir? Okay. Folks, should we continue? Yes. Would that be okay? Yes. Mr. Bhaskar, would that be okay, sir? 10 minutes? Sure? All right, 10 minutes. Why not 11 and a half? Would that be good? 11 and a half. All right. All right, folks. Let's move on. I'm just going to cut short a few things which impact our daily life when we said people skills. I am at people skills as yet. People skills. Folks, I was at an Intercontinental Hotel doing a leadership program. Next to my bed, there was a side table. And on the side table, there was a digital clock. Now, folks, even in five-star hotels, we have a hotelier here, digital clocks are really not designer stuff. Maybe it might be $5, maybe $10, who knows, but not very expensive. But interestingly, right next to the digital clock, Shekhar, there was a big sign hanging, "This clock is hotel property." Folks, interestingly, big sign hanging there, "This clock is hotel property." And right next, on the next table, there was a beautiful small little lamp. And right next to the lamp, there was another sign up there, "This lamp is hotel property." Now, folks, why do you think people put such signs there in hotels? Why do you think people put such signs there? Fear of? Oh, they're packing them with them? You think they do by mistake, sir? They do it by mistake? They do it by mistake? Folks, they pack it away. They pack it away. Now, folks, tell me, a person who's staying in that hotel, the Marriott or the Intercontinental, paying $300, $400, $500 one night, are they poor people, sir? Sir, they could be millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires. They could buy the hotel. But you know something? And they pick up cutlery, they pick up crockery, they pick up linens. Soap is okay. That is consumable. And they bring it home and show it to their family with pride. And you know what they say? "I collect souvenirs." Man, you can give any verbiage you want, medical terminology, they're kleptomaniacs. Folks, there are terminologies, they are ridiculous. It is nothing short of theft, that's all. You can call what you want. And many people in suit and tie do it. They do it. Suit and tie people do it, and that is sad. Folks, we took a Swiss company as our client for a consulting assignment. And I got a call from their CEO, "Mr. Khera, can you do some sales training for our people?" I said, "Sir, tell me what is the end result you're looking for. Let me see if I can deliver. If I cannot, go hire somebody else. But what training to do?" I said, "That's my decision, not yours." He said, "I want my sales going up." I said, "Give me a couple of days, let me check out your people." I shadowed some of their salespeople, and 3 days later I called their CEO and I said, "Sir, your people don't need sales training." I said, "They need basic training in courtesy, etiquette, manners, integrity." He said, "What?" I said, "Yes, sir. Your people need basic training in courtesy, etiquette, manners, integrity." He said, "What does that mean?" I said, "Many of your salespeople have appointments and they are running late. And they don't even have the courtesy to call and say, 'I'm sorry, I'm running.' And time to call is when? Before you got late or after you got late? Before. And 3, they walk in late and they don't even have a courtesy to say, 'I'm sorry I kept you waiting.' And in case they call, what do they say on the phone? 'I'm stuck in traffic.' I'm stuck in traffic." Now, don't get me wrong, folks. Traffic has become a real issue all over the world. That is true. But many times, They leave only 5 minutes before the appointment, and they blame it on. They don't have the guts and integrity to say, I'm sorry, I did start late. And I learned one thing in my life, only the first lie is difficult. Hello? Second becomes easier. Third becomes easier. Fourth becomes easier. And fifth becomes easier. And very soon you are dealing with a chronic liar who is a rascal. And by the way, rascal is a mild word. I've checked in the dictionary. It is a very mild word. And tell me, if this is the starting point, tell me how long will it last? I said, you want to teach them selling? I said, you got your questions wrong. You don't even have the right question. Folks, could you help me out, sir? Thank you, sir. By the way, in my programs, I tell people, when you drink water like this, take the bottle with you. That's not stealing. Because after you are gone and you leave the bottle here, guess where it goes? Take the bottle with you. That is not stealing. You need to understand what is stealing. This is wastage here. So I'm going to carry the bottle. Folks, I'm just going to come to a closure quickly. One is people skills. Folks, why did I share the example of the salesperson? Many times people say, this is a little lie, when the big one comes, I'll tell the truth. Folks, you tell enough lies in life. When the big one comes, what happens? We end up telling a big lie. Remember, you keep hearing the phrase, practice makes perfect. How many believe it's true? Raise your hand. Oh, come on, folks. How many believe it's true? Raise your hand. How many believe it's not true? Raise your hand. How many are confused? Please raise your hand. And how many are too lazy they just can't raise their hand? Please raise their hand. Folks, I noticed some people got the hand up, and when I looked at them, they started scratching like this. But interestingly, that's okay. But let me share, this phrase is incorrect. Practice does not make perfect. Practice only makes permanent whatever we practice. Only perfect practice makes perfect. I don't have time to get into it, but that is what the reality is. If we practice enough little lies in life, when the big one comes, what happens? We end up telling a big lie, and that's all it happens. Same thing. Many times people say, this is a little one. When the big one comes, I'll show courage. You practice cowardice enough little things in life. When the big one comes, what happens? We end up being a big coward. Practice does not make perfect. Practice only makes permanent whatever we practice. Now, one is people skills. I'm going to skip to the second one quickly. Second is what? Persuasion skills. Now, persuasion means what? Ability to influence, ability to convince, ability to negotiate, and ability to sell. That's called persuasion. Now, somebody says, I don't need it. They're showing the basic ignorance of existence in life properly. Who doesn't need it? A candidate at a job interview. What's he doing? Selling. For he needs what? Persuasion skills. A boy girl proposing to get married. What are they doing? Persuading each other to get married. Politician giving speeches to get votes. What's he doing? Persuading. What am I doing right now? Persuading. See, either you are accepting what I'm saying, or you are rejecting what I'm saying based on my ability or inability to persuade. folks, has not changed. Check out our parents, their parents, and their parents, and their parents. These two things have not changed. And my second book, which I brought in, you can sell, where the subtitle is, In Life, Results Are Rewarded, Efforts Are Not. In life, results are rewarded, efforts are not. What does that mean? It means we judge ourselves by our intentions, but the world judges us by our actions. Yes, no. I repeat, it's worth. We judge ourselves by our intentions, but the world judges us by our actions. I want to leave the second one at here, and let me just close it on the third one. One is people skills. Two is persuasion skills. And three is, say it loudly, prioritizing. Folks, priorities are based on values. And folks, there is something called right and wrong values. Unlike people who say nothing is right or wrong, your thinking makes it so. And how many times have you heard people saying values are subjective? They keep changing from person to person and situation to situation. Values are subjective. How many agree with that? Please raise your hand. Okay, very few. Folks, if they keep changing from person to person and situation to situation, it means we have no values. How can they change? I'm not getting into whose values are we talking about, who are we to judge, and what says my values are right. Folks, I share with you, when we talk of values, we talk of two components. One is called universal values, and second is called eternal values. Folks, Rotary, to my knowledge, is based on these two principles. Universal means they cross country, they cross culture, they cross religion. That's called universal. And eternal means they were here before we came, and they will be here after we are gone. Are you with me? They will be here after we are gone. And folks, you heard the previous speaker share with you a grid. Urgent and important. Folks, when we mess up our priorities, think about it. The amount of time-saving devices we have today, we've never had that many in history. Yet, we don't have time. Interesting. Look at this. The amount of time-saving devices we have today, we've never had that many in history. And yet, sir, we don't have time. You know why? Because somewhere we messed up our... I'm not here to preach anything, folks. I'm not here to preach anything. I stand guilty in front of you. In my own life, I messed up my priorities many times. And if I had a rewind button, my question is, would I live my life the way I did? If my answer is yes, it means I haven't learned anything. My answer is, of course not. I'd change many, many things. But folks, when we mess up our priorities, we forget to distinguish between what's urgent in life and what's important in life. Urgent may or may not be important. And important may or may not be urgent. But the interesting part is, whenever we ignore what is important, it always converts into urgent. See, folks, in life, health is important. but it's not urgent. Exercising every day is important, but it's not urgent. See, if I have a crucial meeting tonight and I'm not able to exercise, it's not the end of the world. But if I ignore my health long enough, guess what will happen? I will end up in the hospital. See, you ignore what is important, it converts into urgent. See, in life, folks, relationships are important, but they're not urgent. But if we ignore relationships long enough, guess what will happen? We start talking through our lawyers. Are you with me? It converts into urgent. In my new book, I have written something which says, to succeed in life, learn to resolve conflicts, not dissolve relationships. Are you with me? Resolve conflicts, don't dissolve relationships. Not worth it. Folks, when we mess up our priorities, we keep saying we don't have enough time. Time comes and goes away. Time comes and goes away. We keep saying time comes and time goes away. Folks, time does come and time does go away. How many agree with this statement, folks? Come on, raise your hand. Folks, if you do agree, go ahead, put your hand up all the way. Okay. Well, how many disagree with that? Okay, hardly any. Folks, the people who disagree, I agree with those who disagree. Let me share with you why. Folks, time does not come and go away. Time is eternity. Time is standing still. We come and go away. Are you with me? We come and we go away. Now, when people mess up their priorities, they also say one more sentence. Time flies. Time flies. Folks, if time flies, then time must be an aeroplane. And if time is an aeroplane, who's the pilot? Folks, if we keep saying time comes and goes away, time flies, then we are not pilots, we become passengers. And supposing we are the passengers, and the pilot from the cockpit gets on the public address system and says, folks, I have good news and I have bad news. And the good news is that the tailwinds are favoring us and we shall reach our destination 1 hour in advance. That's good news. But the bad news is that the navigation system just broke. We don't know where we're going. But he says, don't worry, don't worry. He comes into the passenger area and Shaker hands you a parachute. He says, take this parachute, sir, and jump. And you jump. And guess where you land? You land up in the middle of a jungle. It is 9 o'clock at night, pitch dark. Folks, jungle has some rules, and that is 10 o'clock all the animals will come out and they will eat you up. And the only way to get out of this jungle is to run south. Now, at this time in this darkness, how do you know which is south? So at this time, Sushil, sir, miraculously, a salesman appears from nowhere. Salesman. And he says to you, Sushil, I can sell you my watch. This watch will tell you how much time you have left before you get eaten up. You look at him and say, what good is the watch? But he says, wait a minute. In my other pocket, Ravi, I also have a compass. It's a no-brainer. You will buy the compass and not the watch. Folks, what is the moral of this little story? Folks, the moral is very clear. In life, remember, direction is much more important than speed. In life, direction is much more important than speed, which means whenever we need to make a decision in life, let the compass be the guide and not the watch. Folks, and that is what is based on our priorities and values. Folks, with those words, Sushil, I want to thank you, sir. And I would like to thank you and hand over to you my book, You Can Win. Along with it, sir, there are a set of, it's a jewelry box, sir. It's a jewelry box with, if you could help me open this, sir. Oh, you already know it. Oh, okay, sir. All right. Folks, in this, there are 2 bone china mugs. And we created this as a celebration for hitting 3.5 million copies in our book. But my publisher says, we paid you royalty for this amount, but these are the, and inside it is padded for protection for jewelry. But he said, the pirated version of your book, obviously it hasn't sold because we haven't gotten paid royalty. He said, it's circulated close to 500 million people have read your book. Close to 500 million people. And sir, I'm grateful and honored. I could easily call this a conference, a spiritual conference. If I gave that title, it might sound like a cult. But you know something, folks? Rotary always remind me of something which says, hands that serve humanity, which you are. Hands that serve humanity are a lot better than lips that keep talking of divinity. You don't need divinity. You are divinity right here, and that is the key. Thank you very much. God bless you. And folks, we have the same mugs right here, and the books for the RI president and all the RI directors, Mr. Bhaskar, and everybody right here, sir. Oh, okay. Could you pass them on, please? And all the past presidents right here, and Mr. Mehta, sir. Book and...
May I please invite Rotary International Director, Rotarian Bhaskar Chokalingam. He has something very important to tell us, so may I please...
Interestingly, some people came up to me and said, Shiv, I've heard you 3 times. You're going to talk something new. I have no idea what I said, but good luck to you.
May I ask past Rotary International Director and Trustee Sushil Gupta ji,
inspirational dialogue.
to please come back.
Let's give a big hand to Shiv. And I'm sorry I failed to recognize where Kiran is sitting. Kiran?
Not here.
Oh, she's not here? Okay. We missed her. Thank you, Shiv.